It was dark as the Doughboy sped to the front lines in an ambulance, dodging shell holes in the road. The U.S. soldiers on this French battlefield had called for more medical staff to meet the onslaught of casualties. As soldiers carried wounded and dying men into the first aid station, their injuries were visible only by flashlight or the bursting of shells around them. The Doughboy, covered in mud from the trenches, tended to wounds or simply comforted the dying, reading Bible verses to them in a trained, practiced voice. In fact, this Doughboy was one of the most celebrated stage performers of the era, who originally came to the front in September 1918 just to entertain the troops, but ended up in a war zone, aiding soldiers in need. And the Doughboy's name? Sarah M. Wilmer. She later told newspapers, "Aided by friendly officers, entirely outside regulations and unknown to the Y-man in charge of the base, I would dress in a soldier's uniform and go up in total darkness." I'm Justin Clark, and this is a short episode of Talking Hoosier History. Wilmer went to the front 9 times, dressing wounds and comforting dying men, risking her life each time. In October 1918, her lungs were badly burned by chlorine gas. Yet she continued to entertain the troops with her dramatic readings, which would certainly have been painful in her condition. On November 11, 1918, while reading to a large group of men, a colonel walked in and interrupted her to make an announcement. Germany had surrendered. The war was over. She returned to the United States and to her parents' home in Hobart, Indiana, to recover. In sharing this fascinating story from Indiana history, you might be asking yourself, how did we learn about all of this? Well, that's a good question, since Sarah Wilmer herself enjoyed telling a good tale. She told slightly different versions of her story to the Chicago Tribune and the Lake County Times. Wilmer must have realized that Tribune readers were really interested in her transformation from a glamorous entertainer into a doughboy, because she played it up a bit when she talked to the Times a few days later. So if she improved on her story, why do we trust it? First, while she ratcheted up the drama of her dressing as a soldier, she remained consistent on the details of battle and her contributions. Second, we used other primary documents, including her passport application and ship records, to confirm the timing of her trip. It's important for historians to question and verify sources like this. We'll tell you where you can investigate all this for yourself in a minute, but let's finish our story. While Wilmer quickly returned to the entertainment business after recovering in Indiana, the war had changed her. She focused more on social work and service to the hearing impaired. When the U.S. entered World War II, Wilmer pitched in again, working at a local General Motors factory that had been converted to war production. She died in 1949 and was remembered in her obituary as a heroine who brightened the lives of many through her social work and dramatic arts. If you want to learn more about Sarah Wilmer, read Disguised as a Doughboy, the Frontline War Work of Sarah M. Wilmer by IHB historian Jill W. Simmons at our blog. We'll put the link in the show notes. State historical markers are also a great way to learn more about Indiana during World War I. Head over to our website, in.gov/history, and search for our marker on Aaron Fisher. A highly decorated soldier, Fisher served as a member of the all-black Buffalo Soldiers before serving on the front lines during World War I with the all-black 92nd Division. He received the Distinguished Service Cross in the Croix de Guerre for successfully defending his command against German troops despite being wounded. Women like Sarah Wilmer and black Hoosiers like Aaron Fisher fought for democracy abroad despite not having equal citizenship at home. IHB is committed to telling these stories through state historical markers, our blog, and right here on the podcast. We hope you liked this short episode, a format we'll be continuing alongside our longer episodes. Let us know. Subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you get your podcasts. Again, I'm Justin Clark, and this has been Talking Hoosier History. Thanks for listening.